Hello, Jam Tarsi here. In this video, I will discuss how I condition and store my polymer clay for use in all my projects and my thoughts on primo polymer clay and how I use it. Hello, folks. I just wanted to show you how I store my clay. I'm reorganizing my clay stash, and I use about 13 or 14 colors, pure colors, and I always mix my own colors from them. But I just want to show you how I store them. First of all, this box, which is only about, under 2 inches tall, and about 14 inches wide and 12 inches deep, long. Anyway, this holds all my clay, my working clay. And every once in a while, when I get down to bits like this, I'll recondition. In this case, I have one, two, and almost 3 blocks of the same color. And I'm going to recondition that all into one set. And I'll set these out for you here. And I'll go over these colors at the end. But now, all this clay, I start with translucent, and then white, and there's several layers here. There's one layer, there's a second layer, and a third layer. So, I have plenty of clay. When I'm ready to sit down and work, my clay's ready, already sheeted, and I don't have to sit there and open pack it. So, a couple things so far about these colors. That's primo regular translucent. I don't like the white translucent that much, except for translucent canes, because it does funny color things when you're color mixing or if you add it into other clay. White. This is white, and this is ultramarine blue. When I mix my white and condition it, I put a tiny bit, this is probably literally the size of a big pea, and probably a pack and a half to 2 packs of white. It makes it whiter, like bluing for extra whiteness, the old laundry commercials. Yellows. This is zinc yellow, and this is cad yellow. To both of these, I add 10% white. Not my white that has the blue in it. Just white, unadulterated white clay. Because these two colors are very translucent. And if you add the white to them, it bolsters the color. So that if you're making canes and you have a dark color next to yellow, you don't get that color bleed in your cane that makes this look an odd green color. The white acts as a stopper for that. Wasabi, turquoise. These are all Primo brand names and colors. Cobalt. And my next one I'm doing is ultramarine. Now when I start these, I clean my pasta machine. And I start with translucent, and I go in that order. Translucent, white, both the yellows. Wasabi, turquoise, cobalt. Next is ultramarine blue. And it's very simple. Just take your blocks of clay. I'm usually working on my glass, but and I'll stick 2 together, stick them down. That way they're easy to cut. And just cut slices that are no more than twice the thickest of your thickest setting on your pasta machine. Some of this is older and some of it's newer. Right now, I usually like my clay firm and dry, but you can see that white. That means that the clay, the particles are separating from each other. It's not bad, but it will crumble. And it's not that it's bad, it just needs remixed very well. But today, I'm going to be doing projects that I'm going to need soft clay for. So to all these layers of clay, or all these packs of clay, they're all going to get mixed into each other. Like this is very sticky. So that will even out any dryness in the other ones. And I'm going to be doing extruding with these clays. So another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of this Sculpey clay softener. This is the block kind. There's a liquid. When you're doing this to mix, this is much easier. And you need about a pea size for every block and a half or so of clay. That's going to be plenty. I'll put a little more in. So I'm now going to blend this all. And I start on setting 1 and I run these through. I'm going to turn my pasta machine on. I will edit out the sound so you don't have to listen to it. But I'm on setting 0. And these are going through 1 each. Okay, you get the idea. So then I stack them in sets of 2. This one didn't go through. I stack them in sets of 2 and then I run those through again. Now I'm going to finish these and I'll be right back. Okay, so these are all now in sets of 2. Now I have them 2. I'm going to run them back through again in sets of 2. Okay, now that they're all in sets of 2, I'll deal with this a little bit later. I'm going to then stack them in sets of 2 again. This just makes it easier on your pasta machine. You should never put a thickness of clay through your pasta machine that's more than double of the setting. So these are all run on 0. Stack of 2 is double the thickness. And that's the max you should ever put through the setting of a pasta machine. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this all sheeted up, this old sticky clay. It's not really old. It's probably the freshest out of all of it. Okay, now that I have it mostly sheeted, get that off there. I'm going to run this through, each one through, and then put them together and run them through and get it into one sheet. Okay, now I have this long sheet and I'm going to run it through once or twice more on 0. And then I'm going to step down. I'm going to step down to like a setting 3. Your pasta machine's weakest point is on setting 0. So if you're always conditioning on setting 0, you're going to break the cogwheels in there, because the cogwheels at 0 just pass each other, just right at the tip. But when you're on 3, they're farther in. And when you're on 6, they're farther in. And when you're 9, they're all the way engaged. So that's the strongest setting, actually. Now this is on number 2, and you see these white areas here. This was that dry clay, and you can see it, that it's separating. And you may get clay where you put it through and a whole section will like peel off and it'll be all bumpy in there. That's the difference between the old clay and the new clay. There's nothing wrong with either clay. They just need condition until they're homogeneous. Now, another thing you can do You can see all this cracking edge, and that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the clay. But what you can do is not here where the fold is, but a little farther up. Start stretching it before you put it in. And this will move it out to the ends of the roller so you get smoother edges. And another thing, when you see these white areas of bubbles in your clay, that's the too dry and that's the dry clay against the less dry clay. One thing you want to do as it's coming out of the machine, give it a little stretch. Any air bubbles will crack, and it just helps the clay condition easier. Don't pull it so hard that you rip it out of the machine. Just a gentle stretch as it's coming out of the machine. And when you pull it out of the machine like that, it gets narrower, so you get more cracked edges. But when I finish this up, I'm going to do it a few more times. I really want to get rid of this white streaky look. Then I will go back up to setting 0, and then I'll be back. Okay, so here's my long sheet. It's on the setting 0. And now I'm going to recycle my plastic. This is the pack that the blue was stored in. I'll show you what I'm doing here. So here's my stack of clay in color order. My last one was cobalt blue. And I'm going to cut this probably into 3 parts. Put a deli sheet over it. And the next one, put right on top of it. And then the third one. Now, that color's ready to go. So my next colors I have to do, and in this order. When I do my next color, I'll start with a sheet. Okay, that way, every color is stuck together in one packet. So I need a bottom sheet for the next color. So that'll be ready. So the order I go in from here is, next is fuchsia, which is magenta, fuchsia. Then pomegranate, because pomegranate is a mixture of cad red and fuchsia. So I will do pomegranate next, and then following that I will do cad red, then alizarin crimson. And alizarin crimson has a little bit of a brown tone, then the burnt umber, and then finally black. And doing it in this order, from translucent through white, through the yellows, wasabi, cobalt, ultramarine, and then into the reds and brown and black, you don't have to clean your pasta machine in between, because each color is not going to leave anything that's going to drastically change the next color. Now, I don't have too many more to do, but I want to just show you. These will all fit in this box. So when I go to a guild meeting or a clay retreat, I'm gonna move that one over. I have this one box of clay. Everything's in there, ready to go. And I don't have to worry about not having one of my colors that I use. And these are really the only colors I use. I don't buy the pre-made pale colors. I mix all my own. It's very easy. I have so much clay, you would not believe it. All brands. I'm going to start having some clay giveaways on my channel because I will never get to it. I have enough clay for literally 15, 20 people for the rest of their lives. So I will put together some clay bundles that I'll do some giveaways on my YouTube channel. Here's a good example of clay that's separated. And if you're not careful, when you put this through the pasta machine, you'll get crumbles. So what I have here is my leftover sheet that was flat before. It's pretty good and pliable. I'm going to stretch that out to like a number 3. And that will be my base. Now, this is really going to be crumbly if I'm not careful. So what I'm going to do first, get my roller and just roll over them first. Start getting some energy into them. That's cad red on my hand, not blood. Flip them over. I see people all the time on the internet, they cry because their clay goes through the pasta machine, it comes out crumbled. That doesn't mean the clay is bad. It means all the particles are separated. The different chemicals have been separated. So if you start like this first, get some heat and energy into it. See, even that wants to crack. Now I'm going to start on my thickest setting because you want a gentle squeeze through the pasta machine. You don't want blunt force trauma. So I'm going to start on 0. And that's what happened. It didn't crumble, but you can see the dryness coming out of it some more. I'm going to go to number 1. Number 2. Okay, this is a number 2, and it's staying in sheets, luckily. I'm going to stick it on this number 3 here and go on to the rest. I did get a few crumbles on the end of this because I didn't go through a thinner setting first. And now all these are going to go on the softer sheet. I'm going to roll them in good and go back to 0. And I'm not going to fold and roll. I'm going to go through 0, then step down to 1, then to 2. And then I'll decide if I can fold and roll. And I know I'm going to need some of this clay softener in here. I'm going to put that in now. That's probably way too much, but like I said, I need soft clay right now for the project I'm going to be working on. Okay, that was 0. You can see it cracking, but the backside's still smooth. What I hope I get is the separation, because it's another thing. I'm going to go ahead and fold this. You can see where it's getting pebbly, and that's the clay separating. Here's a good example. This peeled off. So this grabbed and peeled off, and it's dry looking under. That happens when the two different clays are different consistencies. It will come together. You just have to keep conditioning until it's all together. I don't want to bore you with conditioning, but I want you to watch the next few scenes. I will be showing you what's happening as I'm conditioning without sound. You can see it's starting to come together. On this one, I had to patch in a few pieces that fell off, and I'm triple folding it. This will compress it more. It's like stepping down on a setting. Here it's split apart weirdly because of the triple fold. So I'm going to put two pieces together, but you can see how it's now coming together. Now you can see it's coming into a sheet. It's not crumbling away or peeling back anymore. So at this point, I'm going to go down to a 3 and then a 4. And I want to really condition it. On those thinner setting, you get more work out of every pass because it's pressing it thinner. So you get more mixing on a thinner setting. Now you can see all of a sudden I got a spot that peeled back. And that just has to do with different consistencies in the clay. So it still needs more conditioning. Another thing you want to do, I'm down to a number 4. I'm going to fold it in half and then tear half off and go through the pasta machine this way with the crumbly edge first. And then put the smooth set edges on the side. That'll help mix those edges into the body. Okay, now you can see this clay is nice, smooth, pliable. It has stretch, a little tear, but that's because it's so thin. But it has some stretch to it. I'm going to finish conditioning this a little bit more off camera and get it into my packaging. This is about after 5 more passes. You can see some air bubbles, and if you stretch them and put your finger behind and push, you can crack them open. There's another one. And that stretching helps release micro air bubbles. And after probably 10 or so more passes, I'm calling it done. It looks good. Okay, I'm all done conditioning my clay. And I just wanted to go through it with you. Talk about the colors I use. So this is about 40 blocks of clay. It's all ready to go. Doesn't take up much room. It will all fit in this little box. So first of all, this is regular translucent. The white translucent has an optical brightener, and when you mix it with colors, it can do some funky things, and it's not bad. It is more translucent. It stays more white and not amber as much. But in different lights, you might make something and it'll look totally different, like cane work. It'll look one color in the sunlight, but another color under the neon or under fluorescent lights. So I use that. My yellows. Zinc yellow, which is a brighter, slightly to the green side of yellow. Cad yellow is to the red side of yellow. It's a more orangey red yellow. Wasabi. Now, while it's not a primary color, it has a bit of a neon quality to it that when you're making like rainbow blends with all greens for leaves and things, it just gives highlights and a pop of brightness to your greens. Turquoise. Turquoise is part of the CYM color theory, also known as cyan, and this is the closest in primo to cyan. It's has a little too much white in it, but it's a good basic cyan turquoise color. Cobalt blue is a pure blue. So if you mix, and then there's ultramarine blue. So if you mix zinc yellow equal parts to this, this, and this, you will get 3 different greens, but they're all primary blues. Same thing if you did it with the cad yellow, because there's a little bit of red in this, your greens are going to be more muted than they are with the zinc. Here's a cane in a trinket bowl I made out of zinc yellow, turquoise, and cobalt, and white clay only. I like working in analogous colorways. You can see the back of the trinket bowl. All that color of turquoise was all the scraps mixed into one color. Then we have, I skipped white. How did I skip white? This is my white. And I don't know if you'll be able to tell here. Probably not. But this has a tiny bit of ultramarine blue in it, just to knock down the yellowness of it. And it's very little. It doesn't change it to baby blue. It's not enough to change the color. It just adds a brightness to it. Fuchsia. This is the red for the primary CYM color theory primary red. This is pomegranate red. Pomegranate, and this is cad red. Pomegranate is actually part fuchsia, part cad red. And I don't know, it's a 65-35 split. I don't know which way. I would say it's probably 35% fuchsia, 65. But if you need a pomegranate red, mix these two, start with 50-50, and adjust from there. But this has fuchsia and cad red, which cad red is a yellow red. There's a lot of yellow in cad red. So if you mix fuchsia with turquoise, you get a nice bright violet purple. If you mix cad red with turquoise, you get eggplant. And if you mix pomegranate with turquoise, you get an eggplant that's a little brighter than with the cad red. Alizarin crimson. If you mix this with a little tiny bit of this with white, it looks at first like it's going to be a fuchsia color, and it is a pinkish red color, but it has an overtone of a brown to it. Not very light, but it's a good red-pink color when mixed with white. Here is an iCat cane that I made using cad red, fuchsia, pomegranate, and alizarin crimson, and made it into a flower pin and one of my evolved lizard tail cabochons. But you can see the difference in the brown and the alizarin. Burnt sienna or burnt umber. I use this for toning down colors as a mud to mix in all of them to tone them down so they're not so bright, and of course black. Now, talking about the CYM color theory. If you have black and white, get these other ones out of the way here. If you only wanted to buy 5 colors of clay, and that's all you ever wanted to buy, not counting translucent, okay, so this is cyan, turquoise in the Primo line, magenta, fuchsia in the Primo line, and zinc yellow, which is the name in the Primo line. These 3 colors, plus black and white, you can make almost every color that there is. Look up CYM color theory and learn it to use for mixing your own colors. I don't really need all these other colors. It makes it easy. I can get all these other colors pretty much, with the exception of maybe the alizarin crimson or the cobalt, I can get with these. Now, if you're using this, and if you switch out the cobalt blue instead of the turquoise, which is another pure blue, you can do that also, and your colors will be a whole different range of all the colors you could possibly make. The blues are different. Ultramarine blue has fuchsia in it already. It's like cobalt and fuchsia mixed together. I'm not sure about that, but it has a purple tone to it. So if you mix yellow with this, you're mixing yellow with fuchsia and blue. So it's going to be a muddy green instead of a bright green. This will give you a brighter green, and this will give you a brighter, lighter green. Okay, I think that's it. I wanted to talk a little bit about these plastic deli sheets. I know they're not available in Europe, but they're a plastic deli sheet that they use for donuts or in the meat department at grocery stores. A box this size, which is 1,000 sheets, and these are 8 by 10 3/4. On Amazon, there's one brand that's about $12 to $13. That's the best price you're going to get on buying one box. You can buy a case of 10 boxes or 100 boxes, but for $12, they're really worth the money. I use them a lot. Aside from I store all my clay, because you can't use saran wrap. Saran wrap, if you do this with saran wrap and your clay sits there for 6 months, you will come back and the clay's not eaten into the saran wrap, but the saran wrap definitely reacts with it. It gets super thin and very stretchy and almost impossible to get off the surface. You can do it, But any plastic that reacts with clay long term is not good. It's like leaching your clay, the plasticizers out of your clay. These do not react, just like most sandwich baggies do not react. Grocery store bags I've used when I was out of these, but you gotta cut away anything that has a label on it because that paint will instantly stick to your clay and stain it. Anyway, that's it on that. Finishing up, here are all the colors together, and then here are all the colors cut into triangles with my blend angle triangle to make rainbow Skinner blends. And this is a mini Skinner blend made with all the colors, all my primaries. And here's the finished blend. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps push my channel out to other people to see. Thanks again.